Right. Refreshy, fresh. Here we go. Excellent. Everyone's looking crystal clear. Welcome back. Welcome back to our 2019 client engagement training call in December. Restarting with a fresh screen. Welcome back, ladies. We're doing it the old technology way of turn off and reboot, as opposed to just kicking the machine. Excellent. Welcome. We're back. Looks like we're still waiting for Shannon, but no worries. So what I want to do right now, ladies, is just remind you that in the gaming tab of your membership site is all the details about I'm a Big Deal. And Shannon shared some of them briefly about the December 13th deadline. And we actually have a lot of material we want to get through today. So I want to just dive in to the training material for today so that we can get to the end of it. And then when Shannon gets back on, she gets settled back in, we'll wrap back around to announcements for gaming. Because what's true is some of you are launching group programs. And what we recommend is really waiting until you've had a handful of private clients first before you start moving towards a group program. Because there are real strategic plannings to make your group program a success, including planning out 5 funnels and your calendar. There's a lot of pressure in building a group program, and it takes a lot, especially if you're in your first year, to start a group program. If you're chomping at the bit or you've already started one like Ada has, amazing, right? And what we want you to really consider is go to your handout. And the moment, I'm a little reticent about sharing the handout with you because we might end up back in the wheel of death. So I'm going to point you towards the group program launch handout, which is in your membership forum for this month. And that is what we're going to be using today as a worksheet. So if you don't have it printed out, go there and look at it because we're going to want to fill in the blanks on that today. Now you can start gathering your private clients together and meet once a month as a bonus to start gathering energy for a group program. It's a great practice. The benefit of launching a group program is that you create a deadline for yourself by which you'll enroll a certain amount of clients to fill that program. Our leverage women often surprise themselves by what they can do when they're ready to go for it. So ladies, what we're talking about is gathering a group, helping them one-on-one, and then as a bonus, having 1 call a week or 1 call a month and putting them all together in that group as a bonus. And that way you can begin gathering the energy without stalling on enrolling 1 private client because the rest of the group hasn't shown up. Do you want to add anything to that, Megan?
Well, yeah, I'd love to just look at some of the ways that we teach you how to fill a group program in Leverage. We talk about the 5 funnels. So where you're headed when you start to envision having a group program is looking for having at least 5 different ways that you could be attracting your ideal clients so that when you're launching and you have that deadline, like Serena is speaking to, of starting the group, you're not just wanting people to come in at any point. It's really important to have at least 5 different ways that you're gathering the energy and attention towards what you're offering all at one time. So a funnel is any activity that you do that can generate discovery sessions. So I can give you some examples. A speaking engagement that you would do on your own. So if you were posting on your meetup group, for instance, that would be just a speaking engagement that you're doing on your own. A speaking engagement to an existing group, maybe another meetup group hosted by someone else, or you're partnering with a yoga studio owner or a chiropractor, someone in your community that already has people coming to them, day spas. They already have clients coming to them and you partner with them and go and host a talk there. Similar to what you were saying, Ada, that you've got a new speaking opportunity coming up. And so those are a couple different funnels. So if you were doing a launch, you could say, okay, I'm going to do one of my own talks and I'm going to partner with someone else to do a talk. And those would be 2 funnels. So a third one could be doing a video online. It could be just as simple as doing a video on Facebook that has a clear call to action, inviting people to book a discovery session with you. And then maybe if it's on your business page, you boost that. You spend $10, $15, $20 boosting that video so it gets out in front of more eyeballs. And you could also do a couple of videos. So a mini Facebook video challenge would be doing 3 days in a row where you're delivering content similar to what you would do in a webinar, but you break it out over a few days and you're inviting people to come back and watch the next day with you and then come back and watch another day. And from those Facebook Lives, you'd be inviting people again into discovery sessions. So the great benefit there is they get to know you and like you and feel that connection with you from just joining you on Facebook for multiple days in a row. And another avenue would be doing an interview. So it could be that you get booked on a radio show or you do an interview for someone's summit or a podcast interview. But you being interviewed by someone else is an amazing strategy. Some of our leverage women have Facebook groups that are really thriving. Some of you may be starting to grow that as well. And they interview each other in the Facebook groups. So that could be a place for you to think of, oh, maybe you're part of a group already, or you know someone that has a group with lots of your ideal clients in it. How could you add value to their group by being a guest expert that gets interviewed in there? So the important thing is to think of at least 5 funnels. So 5 of these different actions that you could do and you're willing to do to promote your program. And you start promoting 2 to 3 months before you are starting the program. So you give yourself plenty of time, at least 2 to 3 months. And if you're doing speaking engagements, you might be hosting a couple of speaking engagements a month so that you're getting in front of more people. And really considering how you can amplify your online presence, especially through social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, wherever you and your clients are hanging out. But you start to really focus on amplifying those efforts for 2 to 3 months before the launch of a group program. So I know, Serena, do you want to talk a little bit more about a launch plan?
Well, I love everything that you shared, Megan, because these are really powerful strategies, ladies. Mm-hmm. Even if you're filling your private program, right, you're getting one client at a time, everything that Megan just spoke to, any kind of funnel that you can create so that clients are finding you is going to fill your program. So this is a really important distinction. Each and every one of you consider having at least 3 funnels, up to 7, because that's what it takes to amplify your message and get visible. Mm-hmm. Now, the difference between filling your private practice and the group program is you have a deadline. Your program begins March 1st. So everything that you're doing to amplify your message and fill those funnels is all going towards that one date. Can you feel the pressure of that? Like, you got to get busy. If that's not where you want to position yourself in your business, then you can have a starting date January 1, January 15, January 30, and just put one client in at a time as you keep massaging all of those funnels. One client at a time keeps coming, one client at a time. So then by March, you're like, wow, I have 4, I have 6 clients. At that point, then you can start putting them into that bonus, into that special group call. Now, let's talk about a realistic goal for filling your group program. Because what's really true is you're going to need 5 to 10 discovery sessions per speaking engagement to enroll 2 to 5 clients, right? It's a numbers game, ladies. Oftentimes when I'm talking to all about your signature talks, I'm like, think signature talk series. Because the truth is, only a percentage of people who actually say they're going to come, and another percentage of that actually say yes, get out of their own way to actually move forward on their transformation. So a series of talks gives you the opportunity not to sweat it. If 2 people arrive at the first one, if 5 people arrive at the second one, you're rolling. You just keep speaking the same message. You keep putting it out there, having those discovery sessions, you're more likely to hit your goal. So think about it in the long term if you can, and that will help you from reinventing the wheel. Now, all this information is on your handout. You've seen it before. You've seen the group program handout briefly. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we want to get you excited to actually outline and use it for the future. There's a sample calendar in there, and you can start drafting your plan with your coach if you're ready. We really recommend that you do a rough draft of what your launch plan for your group program might be and bring it to your coach to see if it's realistic. Because many of you do want to begin launching something bigger in the new year so that you're ready to sign up for leverage, by the way. And the thing is, sometimes we don't see the gaps in our launch plan until we're sitting with our coach, right? Because there needs to be time to plan, implement, and then follow up. So if you are planning on a group program, definitely get to it with your coach. Now, we're going to go through the client engagement handout next. And I didn't get to see how many hands are in the group of people who are wanting to launch a group program or who have one. How many of you are in that camp? Oh, wow, awesome. More than half. Beautiful, beautiful. So don't skip steps, ladies. Don't skip over private clients before the group program if you can help it. One of the reasons I encouraged Ada to start a group program at the beginning is because she had just 6 people in it, and they were meeting once a week, and they were in person. So she was getting to roll with her program and see what it feels like with a group of 6. It's like being paid for 6 beta clients. It's like being paid for a group program when you get people together and you actually work it with them. And Ada had the blessing of having a location for free and the opportunity to teach for free. And all she was charging was for materials. But she got paid for all of that time. So now all that experience is up and under her. So when she enrolls them into her second class and she offers a fee, she's got some real credibility and experience to stand on. So it's the same process, ladies, for all y'all. First, get your beta client. Get someone to work with you for a testimonial or a referral. Work your program with a live person. Then raise your rates. Get people to work with you and incrementally raise your rates. Once you've had an experience, 6 to 12 clients, you're like, oh my God, this system works. I'm getting results. I want to do a group program and create a plan to fill it up. That's where the money is. So we're going to be working through your client engagement handout. And we just want to talk about the reality that most mentors lose their clients because they pile on too much content too soon. And they really bury their clients. So these distinctions that Megan and I are going to lay out for you today are important steps to create a container for learning and to set your clients up for success without avoiding losing them. So the first most important distinction is content versus context. Context matters 10 more times than content because your people need structure and they're there for an experience. They're not there for your content. Now, a lot of you might be wondering, how do you enroll new clients in your group when there's no group yet? How do you help someone feel safe and enroll them, but now when there's no giant community, right? Well, that's why we recommend you start putting them in private, privately in your group, because then you don't have the pressure to fill your group. When you create a safe container, then you can begin to share with them content that is applicable to them, right? A lot of first-time mentors spend a lot of time in the closet making up all the juicy steps of the marketable program. How many of you are doing that? You're like, I can't sell a program until it's really filled out and I have 10 really big steps. How many of you are there? How many of you have been there? Yeah, me too. Me too. I love to tell people you just need the first 2 steps of your program. You need to find out what people really want. What do they want? Why do they want it? and what's in the way of them having it. Those first 2 steps are key to giving them what content you have that will help them solve the problem or fill the gap. Now, once you get them into working with you, you can do all kinds of things. When you're filling a group program, you can invite other private clients into the group. You can invite your colleagues. You could even put someone in your group on a scholarship so you have more participants. This can also help them see the value of a smaller group. It gets their attention. So there's benefits to both, ladies. There's benefits to starting with private clients, and there's benefits to having a group. But remember, it's context more than content. From there, it's about welcoming them. Megan, will you share with them about that?
Yeah, and this is so key, what Serena's speaking to of, you don't have to have a huge group to start with. What she's saying is you can just have your private clients and then be inviting them in to join you for a group session once a month. You can start to connect your private clients, and that's so powerful. And when they do come into a group, you're congratulating them for saying yes to themselves. You're congratulating them and welcoming them in. This isn't about thanking them. So just want to speak to the difference between thanking someone and congratulating them. The congratulations is about them, and it's about their choice and the step that they're taking. And when you thank them, that makes it about you. Like, oh, thank you for joining the group. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had one, and it would have been so sad and small. That kind of feeling. And you really want to celebrate them and get them excited also about who's in your community. If you do have some community already gathered there, you get to talk about that. And I've done that before, even when I've only had 2 people registered already. And I've talked about, oh my gosh, you're going to love meeting this person. This is what she's up to. And they're, oh, wow, that sounds so exciting. They don't know it's the only other person that's in the group. That's okay for now, because there's going to be more when they get there. But getting people excited about who else they're going to get to meet, because people love to know who's going to be there with them. And also re-enrolling your clients. We're going to talk a lot more about that next week on the Q&A call, but just to highlight that when you're constantly re-enrolling clients, it doesn't only happen at the end. It's not only something that happens when you're completing a year with them and then you say, do you want to stay for another year? Re-enrollment happens all along the way. As they start to feel wobbly, you're letting them know, oh, here's what you're going to learn next month. And this is what we're going to teach you about, 3 months from now. And this is what will be possible for you at the end. I know it's challenging for you right now, but here's where we're headed. So you're constantly framing where you're headed, letting them know that you're holding that larger container for them, and getting them excited. And I'm sure you see us doing that too. I just did it right now, telling you that we're going to learn more about re-enrollment next week. So keeping them excited about where you're headed.
That's great tips, Megan. So appreciate that. As we roll into number 4, we're going to circle back to content, because here's a hot tip, ladies. Make sure you write this down. The advantage of having a private client is that you can introduce 1 or 2 new things for them that's individual to their situation. Introducing 1 or 2 things, not more, so that they can digest what they need to do to move forward towards their transformation. This is very individualized. And this is really hot when you are in an enrollment conversation with a one-on-one client about how you're going to create a program that's designed just for them and their situation. When you move to a group program, now it becomes more dynamic, because you have some people in your group that are fast learners, some that are just beginners, but you still want to pace them so that everyone's moving along. And in that case, in a group program, you're often going to have to introduce concepts or ideas that match and meet people at the beginning of their journey, and some people who are more advanced or have more experience. Pacing all of them, but also challenging those who learn faster or who want to go quicker, and also taking care of the ones who are coming along. This is why a group program will call more out of you as a facilitator, because you're having to hold a multi-learning level playing field. Some people will feel left behind, bringing them along, and some people will feel like they're chomping at the bit, and you as a trainer or coach and mentor have to hold all of them. So keeping that in mind when you have a group. One of the ways to support everyone to feel confident no matter where they are in their program is number 5. Let your people know where they are on the map. So start every session letting people know where they are. If you are introducing a map or a blueprint, or taking people on a journey with modules, you're going to remind them where they are, what they've already done, how far they've come. This is part of keeping people engaged in your program, because we all believe on some place that we're deficient, that we're in scarcity. We don't have enough, we don't know enough, we don't have enough time. We show up to our coaches like that. So as a coach and mentor, you're going to keep reminding people that they've come farther than they think, because we all tend to forget. I have to remind myself over and over and over again where my business was when I first started 6 years ago and where I am now. Because I go into a little bit of amnesia that I'm not as far as I should be, and I compare myself to other people. So when I remind myself of that and I remind my clients of that, they're like, really? Have I come that far? Hell yes. Orient them to how far they've come. It's a big key in keeping them with you and keeping their confidence. And it's a lot about relationship, which Megan's going to talk about a little bit more.
Yes, and so important to really inspire them and hold up that mirror for them, like Serena's saying about, hey, look it, you're actually amazing. You're doing enough. You're doing more than enough. And here's what we can do next. And when you co-create the relationship between yourself as the mentor and your clients, you're really encouraging them to stand in their full responsibility for the results that they want to have. So asking them things like, how do you best feel supported? How do you best receive feedback? We ask questions like this before we assign coaches. So you've seen those things on the Women Rocking Business Forum. It's like, what kind of coaching do you most want to receive? Do you like ass kicking kind of form, or do you like it more gentle? And what style resonates with you? And it's important to find those things out from your clients so that you're bringing this combination, of course, of being who you are and sharing from your perspective, but also meeting them with, oh yeah, they really want to have like bullet point accountability action steps and homework. Great. That really helps them achieve their results. How can I bring that into our coaching sessions where someone else might be more looking at the big vision? So finding out what they need, asking them, and really reminding them along the way that, hey, you get to raise your hand at any moment and say, I'm needing something. I have a question, and let them know that they can always counter offer when you give them a homework assignment or assign an action step to them, that they can say, it's not sitting with me and this is why. So that kind of environment that you create will allow them to speak up and feel confident in that co-creation with you. And often people just don't realize that they can coach their coach, that they can stop and say, hang on, I need clarification. And it's not a hierarchy. So you let them know that by you setting the context from the beginning. Hey, this is not some hierarchy. I'm not just doing this like my way. This is about the two of us doing this together. Do I have your commitment to speak up and ask for what you want, ask for what you need? And that makes a huge difference.
Love it. That's great. How many of you have given your clients a mid-season, a midway assessment? How many of you have considered doing that? A couple of you. Yeah, awesome. Super helpful. I remember the first time I did my 8-month program, and halfway through I asked my clients, what are you getting? What do you want more of? I was really afraid. Criticism. It was much easier for me to just keep going like straight ahead with my plan than stop, ask, and maybe redirect or realign myself. This can be a really successful tool. Once I gave my assessment to my group, I found out 2 things. I found out what their favorite exercise that I had designed myself that they loved. And I found out that there wasn't as much dissonance in my group as I was feeling in the process. So it really validated what I was doing and allowed me to move more confidently by giving them more of what they wanted and still keeping on track. So an assessment to your clients can be really supportive. And what we recommend is it's not super long. We're talking 5, maybe 10 questions, a couple multiple choice, a couple essay questions. And I also usually take time in my group to do it. So if you're doing a group program, sending out an assessment could be more work for you because who's going to give it back? Oh, they forgot, you're checking in, so on and so on. So I made time at the end of one of my group sessions to actually give them the assessment, have them fill it out while we were in the space, and then I collected them. It was really successful. If you're doing this with a private client, you could consider emailing them the assessment, the questionnaire of some kind, and then reviewing it at the very beginning of your next coaching call. So they know they have a deadline. We're going to review this on our next call, so make sure you have it filled out. And if they show up to the call not having done it, which is likely, no one's bad or wrong, go over it with them. Like there's these 5 questions. It's okay you didn't have time to get to it. Let's just go through those quickly because I really want to make this the most powerful, individualized program for you so you get the most out of it. Right? Keep rising your client up as if they're doing everything they can to meet their transformation, which they are. And by measuring where your clients are, you can use that assessment in your re-enrollment conversation. If they've shared with you in their assessment that they've stopped beating themselves first thing when they get up in the morning, they've started networking and getting out of their comfort zone, they had 5 dates where they actually got to talk about their needs, whatever it is they share in the assessment, you can use that information in their re-enrollment conversation when they start to give you resistance. And they say things like, I didn't get anywhere. I'm still dating the same old guy. I'm still not making money. Whatever they're saying, I can't afford another program with you. You can be like, really? You must have forgotten. You did X, Y, and Z on your assessment form. Do you remember that? And you can blow some more love into the places where they forgot what they've accomplished. Teaching your clients what success looks like is key. This is number 9. To make a wildly successful course for them, you're going to have to remind them what it means to be successful. How many times have we reminded you ladies to print out your handouts? How many times? Let's hear it. Go ahead and unmute yourself. How many times we reminded you to print out your handouts, listen to the training calls?
25.
A lot. I'd say every session.
Every time.
Yep, every time. I start to feel like a broken record. But what's true is, if I keep reminding you all to do that and you do it, you'll be more successful. If you stop multitasking, you'll learn quicker. If you use the printouts, handouts, and engage with them, you'll be more successful. We keep reminding you what it looks like so that it gets really clear, because we all forget in our stress and our overwhelm. So I'm glad you guys are hearing that we're not only teaching you, but we're doing what we teach, right? So that we can remind you again and again, what does success look like? Number 10, just like put a big heart around it, ladies. Addressing human resistance. This is one of the most important things that I've learned from Sage ever. Big heart around it. Because it's also the thing that I was scared of the most. Hi, Mona, welcome to the call. You look so beautiful. Everyone is resistant to change. It's not personal to the trainer at all. We're all resistant. And inside of each and every one of us is, I want to do it my own way. I know what you're saying, but I want to do it my own way. When we walk into a group, whether it's a signature talk, we're a guest speaker, we're walking into our own group, there's resistance in the room. When I started my group program in October, I was sweating. It was just palatable. They're new. They didn't know me. They didn't know what I was bringing. They didn't know what I was going to ask them to face. And I spent the first 2 days talking about resistance and validating why resistance and choosing for yourself and knowing where your boundaries are so key to success. Validate, name, uplift. There's resistance, whether you're losing weight, you're trying to find your partner, you're starting a business, you're telling your true life story. There's resistance in the field. If you name that at the very beginning of any session, individual or groups, you're going to be speaking to the humanity in the room, something that's just true. And if you can create any kind of dialogue or exercise with your group where they personally get to name their own personal style of resistance, then now they're calling themselves out and exposing themselves in a way that feels safe without you being like, hey, you, I see you on your phone again, right? Calling them out, and you diffuse the power dynamic that you're there in the role of authority to bust them on their resistance. Now it turns to self-responsibility. Oh yeah, when I get nervous, I check out and I get on my phone. Oh, that's right. When I get really vulnerable, I leave group early and say that I'm really busy. Any kind of exercise to have them out their resistance in a really safe way can create a lot of safety and trust in the room. And I watch Sage do this masterfully with groups of 100, with groups of 400. And we really recommend, ladies, that you read The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield's book. That's a required reading in our library, which is also How to Be Successful, Getting on Top of Your Resistance, Knowing How to Speak About It. That book has a lot of information that you can share with your clients. Because when they're in their resistance, they're often out of touch with their indulgent why. Megan's going to talk more about that.
Yes, when they're in resistance, they've forgotten what is the real reason, that deep why, the indulgent why that they decided to join the program in the first place. So you're there to help them get back in touch with why is it essential that they complete the program to be able to see the results that they wanted to see. When you're doing those discovery sessions and you're discovering what their indulgent why is, those are like gems for you to know, so that as their resistance comes up inevitably, and you're in re-enrollment conversations with them, you are ready. You know that you can talk about why they're really doing this. Is it, do they want to start a business because they want to have plenty of vacation time to travel to particular places? If they're like, I want to just spend 2 months in Europe, then you'll be talking about that. And what are you going to do now to move towards that goal? And you're also there to help your clients anticipate challenges. So get them in touch with the challenges that might come up for them before they ever come up. So you're busting the objections before they arise. So asking a question like, what might stop you from completing this program? And then you get to hear their answer. What might stop you from completing this program? And they say, just like Serena was talking about, like, oh, maybe, I get really busy and overwhelmed, and sometimes I don't finish things. Or I, sign up for something, but then I'm not good at prioritizing. And so I can't do it all at once. Then you say, great. So what step are you going to take to keep this from happening this time? What's going to be different about how you do this time? There's so many times I've talked to people in our programs and my own, where I've had this conversation coming up against someone's resistance of, oh, well, this is just how I am. Like, this is how I do things. And I always challenge them to say, okay, but you said you wanted different results this time. So what are you going to do to start making these different results happen by making a different decision? And when you approach it from this place of personal responsibility, then it's not up to you to deliver the results anymore, as they may have hoped initially, but you're there to support and hold this container for them to learn within. And I know Serena's going to talk about those different learning styles and different personalities, because that's the fun thing about a group program is you've got a lot of different kinds of people in there, not just one.
Diversity, right, Megan? There's so many people on the planet. We attract our ideal client, but they come in different shapes and forms. And how do we deal with that? There's been a lot of study done on learning styles. And if you notice on our retreats, we use different methods for our madness. So we have the handouts printed for you, because if you're that kind of person that likes to write things down, and by writing you remember and you go back to your notes, that's what that's there for. What if you're not? What if your client doesn't enjoy handouts and you've spent like 6 months creating handouts and they're like, I just don't like them? You need alternate ways of teaching. So what we recommend is consider all learning styles. So there's the visual learner, there's the experiential learner, and then there's the auditory learner. And what science shows is most of us are a mix of those. We need to learn on multiple different levels. If you watch children play, you'll see it over and over. Right? Just imagine the idea of building a sandcastle. Some children don't know how to build a sandcastle until they see one built. And they're like, oh, you used the bucket and the stick and you dug it from here and you felt, oh, I see you doing it. Then they have to get their hands in the sand, right? And they have to actually try and do it. Oftentimes, you'll be speaking to them and coaching them along the way, like, oh, here, use my shovel. Watch out, here comes the wave. So there's some auditory learning happening. And don't forget the crushing of the sandcastle, right? The do-over, the I quit, I can't do this again, and recommit to the sandcastle. All of those learning styles are in every human being. So when you're training your clients to have learning materials on all different levels, so that might look like handouts, audio recordings, drawings or maps or different kinds of blueprints for the visual learners, the artists in your group. So consider even putting that as part of your assessment. When you get a new client, ask them, what's their favorite way to learn? Especially fleshing out if your clients have any learning disabilities. Dyslexia and ADHD are very common in our society. You want to know that about your clients, because those clients learn on a very different level, and you want to be able to match them. Raise your hand if you're getting a little overwhelmed with like all the learning styles. You're like, holy shit, I don't know if I can do this. Okay, a few. Good. Most of you have a handle. If you're struggling with that, ladies, take it really slow and simple, and maybe just do some research on multiple learning styles. It's there's some really good, easy science around it. How about accountability? This is huge. So once you meet your clients in their learning styles, how do you hold them accountable? This is a number one thing that all of us are up to with our clients. And this is what really sets us apart between therapy and coaching and mentorship. Because accountability suggests that people are getting into action, or they're not getting into action, like Megan was foreshadowing. You give your clients a task and they don't follow up. What do? What we do is we learn to get more and more comfortable with challenging our clients, asking really tough questions, because people need to be pulled out of their comfort zone in order to get to where they wanted to go. And that's what they're actually paying us for. So what we recommend, write this down, take notes on your individual clients. Make sure you know where they're stumbling, what's in their way, so that you can get them extra support or just address where they're not showing up where they said they were. In your groups, have members post their action steps on Facebook and repeat the instructions several times. You'll see us do that at the end of the call today. And then acknowledge people who have posted and give them time to post on the call while you're together. Notice how we do this in ELA, because it works. In my group program, when I'm teaching, I don't have time to track all of my clients. I'm listening to them, I'm tracking them mentally, but I don't have time to take notes. I tried that last season because I wanted to really track my clients. This season, I have my assistant doing it. She's got a notebook with all my clients' names in it. And when they're sharing, she's taking notes on what they said, where their big blocks are. So then when our group session is closed, I can go back to those notes and be like, that's right. Dana really struggles with visibility. Yep. And Elizabeth, she really struggles with getting her voice out there. And so I can circle back around to them at a different point. It's really important. I see your hand. Dion, hold on one sec. Let me just finish this thing up. So tracking your clients and making sure that you're holding them accountable can't be overestimated. Dion, what's your quick question? I'm glad you raised your hand.
Oh, I just had a quick question on what you were saying about your assistant taking notes. If you don't have an assistant and you don't feel like you can take notes, is there, can you ask for permission to record?
Absolutely.
Go back through,
Yeah.
be video or just, audio record and then go back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The recording device has become so key in our world, right, ladies? And the key is to ask permission. In my last group program, I was doing one-on-one coaching with my storytellers, and I know they're not going to remember it all. They never do. How can they? They're like totally in the zone with me. And so I just suggested they record what we're doing, and I ask permission not to share it. So it's a great way. Just make sure you get permission. Great question. So number 15, taking time to create the community. This is really key. Sage always says we can't sell community, but we can create it. And when we create a community, a learning community, then it helps people stick, because we live in a time where people are craving connection, especially women. We're designed for groups, even if we are a little introverted. We really get energy up knowing that we're connected. So communities don't just happen like that. They get created over time and with trust. So when you're selling your program, don't lead with the community aspect. Lead with the personal results. But consciously creating community or having assignments and following up with people so that they also are in charge of creating community is huge. We do the buddy system in our program. I recommend this as something very powerful to do in your groups. I do this in my private group. I hook them up with buddies, and you know what? No one ever takes me up on the offer on the first session. The first month we meet, I'm like, grab a buddy. No one does. They all sit back. They're like, nobody likes me. I don't know who to choose. Someone's going to feel bad, right? We do all of our personal adolescent stuff. By the third, so what I do in my groups is I do a lot of pair exercises. So I give them the taste of what it's like to have a buddy in the group over and over again. I do lots of exercises where I make them buddy with different people. So it's forced intimacy in a safe container, so they can have an experience with every woman in the room without having to ask and be rejected. Hands down, at the end of my private program every year, there are friendships forged that never would have happened left to their own accord. And you'll see it in ELA as well. You'll buddy up with someone that you didn't think you had anything in common with. They didn't like the way you wear your hair, whatever, right? And then all of a sudden, through the sharing and the budding up, you're like, oh my God, we have more in common than I have in common with some of my blood family, right? That's so powerful. The friendships that in ELA have continued into leverage. There's a pair, they're troublemakers, to be quite honest, who were in ELA together that are now in leverage together. And they're so powerful that they were pulling me over in Hawaii, giving me feedback on the retreat. They're like, you know why we like this? You know why we think this would be different? It was so great. Those two are going to be unstoppable and showing up for each other. So creating community is key. And ladies, if you are feeling left out of the kind of community that you were hoping for in this group, it's not too late. But what's not effective is posting on the ELA page, I need a buddy. That's it. At this point in the game, you're going to have to be more proactive. Get a little skin in the game by private messaging a couple women you're watching. Whether you think they're super cool, they're a niche mate, there's something about the way that they share that draws you to them, PM and reach out to them. It's totally okay to have more than one buddy. halfway through ELA, I needed a buddy that was accomplishing more than I was. I needed someone to put a fire under me because I was lagging in my accountability. And so I reached out to a woman who was really crushing it. And I was like, when can we meet? And I got really flexible with my schedule with her. So that might be true for you if you haven't reached a level of community that you want. And it is one of the number one things to stick your clients to you, by really creating exercises where community lands. You can take that tone into Facebook, because Facebook is a community forum. Megan, will you speak more about that in number 16?
Yes. So community on a Facebook group, just like you experience in ELA, is a place where people can ask questions. They can share more of their more personal struggles and challenges, what's up for them, get feedback, make connections with other people in the program. So you get to experience the value of that from being in ELA. And one thing to look at is, if you're hosting a Facebook group, it's going to be important for you to set the tone for what happens in the group, for you to encourage people to keep it positive, to coach people towards supporting each other, and remind them, just like we do for you, to post 3 comments for every one ask, so that it doesn't only become about people asking for what they need, but they're also commenting and engaging. And you set the tone for vulnerability as well. So you can invite people to share more vulnerable posts, ask participants to share supportive feedback on those posts, and you lead the way by what you share and how you show up in the group. Another way that Serena spoke to a little bit already to create engagement within a group program is using the buddy system. And I just wanted to add in with that, if you don't have a group program yet, but you only have private clients, you could still have people buddy up. You could invite your private clients onto a group training call that you host, and then say, to keep this accountability going, to keep moving in the direction of your goals, have every woman introduce herself and something that she's going for, an intention she's holding, and then invite people to buddy up and do a homework assignment together, or practice something that you've taught on the call, so that you're creating more connection and more community there, even within your private clients. And I know Serena's going to talk about number 18, talking about training calls and events, and how important it is to remind you about these things, as you hear us do.
Oh my God, ladies, this is going to save you so much frustration, okay? Because everyone is busy, staying busy. It's just the way the world is working. I'm back to Sage Levine. Oh, that's so cute. Has that been there the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, so cute. When you have a session with a client, when there's a training call, when there is something due, send out reminders. It comes across as really kind to our clients, because if they forget, there's much more stress involved. But if there's a reminder, then it gives them a chance to rally and show up for what they said they were going to do. So we really recommend that you send out reminders. They can be automated. For a lot of the scheduling programs, like the ones we use, Schedule Once and You Book Me is another one. You can automatically program that your clients get a reminder that they have a session. You can even put in there what they're supposed to bring to that session, so you're setting them up for success. Always do that, ladies. It's super key. And when you have training calls and there's a lot at stake for them to be on the training call, a 2-hour training call, a 4-hour training call, send out multiple reminders, because they may not open the first one. And make sure the subject lines are really strong, right? Bold, pay attention, training call coming. You don't have to invent this yourselves. If you look at Sage's reminders that you get from Women Rocking Business, the templates are all right there. You can just repurpose any of the emails you get from our company for your purposes and send out those reminders. It's a really kind gesture.
I love that, Serena. I would love to add something to that.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you're back.
I'm here. I've been listening to this great stuff. And what I want to add to that about the reminders is, You can't underestimate how busy people get or how we tune out things when we're just, head down and doing what we do day to day. One of the things, one of the strategies that we employ every year, multiple times a year on our team is around our client fulfillment events. That's you, right? Like that's you guys, you're our clients and we're having an event. And you'd think everybody's coming because it's fun and it's going to be amazing transformation, 3 days. We have all this incredible material, but people don't see it or they get busy or they make up reasons or they put roadblocks in their way to really come, showing up, to really committing and showing up in person. And so some of the strategies we use for client engagement, like you've seen with the gains, but also around getting clients to our events, we have our coaches make phone calls to people who haven't RSVP'd, and we always have them RSVP in advance. We have a whole tab in our content, membership site about events with pictures and descriptions of what's happening. Other things we've done for events is given them prep work, given our clients prep work for events so that they come already juiced up for the work that we really want to dive deep with them on. These are all client engagement strategies that you've been, using along in ELA. And those personal phone calls go so far because you may get a nice chunk of people saying that they're going to attend the event. And you've got to get on the phone and call your other ones and just say, hey, I noticed you haven't attended, or I noticed you haven't RSVP'd. What's going on? And at least half of the women who haven't RSVP'd, they're just on the fence. I mean, some women generally have a real conflict. Other women are just on the fence. And women have even turned who actually have something else scheduled. When I asked a simple question, what would it be like to reprioritize right now? What would it be like to renegotiate this other thing that's going to keep you from really getting the most out of your investment? And they'll turn. And then you get this juicy time with your clients where when you're in person, that's a really good time to just get that bonding experience with them.
Thank you for adding that personal touch, Shannon, because you're really on the front lines of that campaign and have helped us really create one that feels personal. The reach out to our clients, ladies, to get them on the phone, to have a conversation with them. Because remember, women are wired for relationship. This is the feminine way of business. We're not selling people anything. We're enrolling them on their dream, on the things that they said they wanted when life has gotten in the way. Thank you, Shannon. It's really beautiful because that brings us to point number 19 on your handout, which I wish had been up sooner because it's 19. It's have fun. Have fucking fun with it. Like Shannon was saying, like you can use pictures, you can use story, you can use whatever you want that feels authentic to you to get your clients' attention. There's a lot of people vying for people's attention out there. And here's a hot tip, write this down. Have fun with acknowledging your clients, right? All of you put your hand up at the beginning of the call. I'm here to contribute. I'm here to be of service. Part of that is lifting our clients up and having them feel that what is inside of them is special and will not be repeated on this planet without them. When we acknowledge our clients for the qualities that they have in their heart and in their soul that only they can bring, they bond with us. I actually have a whole list of acknowledgments that I give my storytellers so when they run out of saying, oh my God, you're so courageous. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so, right? A whole list of acknowledgments because as a culture, we've fallen away from acknowledging each other on a regular basis. But when you make that a habit with your clients, it can get really fun, right? Because you get to see inside your clients in a way that no one else sees them, oftentimes around the issues they're struggling the most with. When you acknowledge them, re-enrollment becomes easier. And re-enrollment doesn't just happen at the end of the program. A last point on this handout is when you track your clients, when you track where they've been, where they're going, and you're able to acknowledge them for how much they've contributed, how much they've faced, this re-enrollment can happen all the way through the program. Re-enrollment is another word for recommitment. All along the way, we are making choices every day. Am I going to stay in this? And am I going to keep doing this? Am I going to keep this relationship alive? So consider all along the way, the entire time you're fulfilling your package with your client, that you're also planting seeds for a long-lasting, fulfilling relationship with you so that they can get to where they want to go. There's so many things I want to instill in each and every one of your brains, but what's partly true is that you have to experience what it's like for you to engage your clients. What is your special skill set? Some of you are really funny. Some of you are really deep. Many of you are a combination. And what we all have a little bit of is fear of other people. Afraid they won't like us. Afraid they think we're selling them something. Afraid that we're not good enough. And that fear is often what holds us back from reaching out and engaging. So find where it's easiest for you to engage and really allow yourself to come forward and bring that out. And trust that whatever you're doing to engage your clients as authentically you is really human. And that's what people want. They want human connection with another human, helping them get to their fullest potential. And we're going to take some time right now for some Q&A while we're here on the call. And I just want to share that what's really exciting about Megan being on the call here today is that she's going to be on the Q&A next week. And you're going to have her all to yourself while I'm in Uganda with Sage and Shannon. And I just want to say how relieving it is to leave you all in such good hands. Megan is a badass mentor. One of the things I love about her coaching is that she's not afraid to challenge you in places where you're maybe blind to some of your genius. Okay? And that is one of the benefits that she brings. She might be easier on you, but she might not be. And so what I really want to challenge each and every one of you is not only today in the Q&A, but next week, is really to get to the heart of the matter about where you're stuck so that we can help support you to get through that, be held accountable so that you can get your next paying client and keep them. That's our goal as coaches here at Women Rocking Business. So, Ada, I see your hand up. We'd love to hear from you first.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Serena, when she told me for my first thing, she says, go out there as if you're going to give a great party and you're going to have fun. And that was so icebreaker for me. And the other thing was that when I am really scared and not knowing what I need to do, I just focus on building the relationship and building the trust, because lots of times I do not know what I'm doing. Me
neither.
Just acknowledge what they've done and so on and so forth. My question is that, I'm fortunate to have a small group, 6 people, really committed. Everybody shows up every time.
Wow.
On time, and they're there. And one of them suggested forming a WhatsApp group. And it was really a brilliant idea, because when we post when we want it for the group, there's a back and forth response.
Beautiful.
However, this group is the women are relatively reserved. So they don't how can I help them get more engaged?
Yeah.
I give them things to do and they respond, but they don't do it. Yeah, please help.
That's a great question. That's a great question. When you're using any kind of platform outside of your group, WhatsApp, Facebook, and you're asking them to go to it, they need incentives. So gamifying is one of the big pieces. if they post, if they engage, if they show, in your case, if they show their painting or their work, or they talk about what are they going to, what's in it for them, right? Because what we're asking our clients to do is get visible and get vulnerable. If there's nothing in it for them, they often won't do it. And in small groups, there's less room to hide. So if you have 6 people, right, there's no room to hide. So what I love about the WhatsApp group, Ada, is that you can ask them to post some things, and you'll need to post as well, right? So if we're making an ask for our clients to do something, we'll have to do something with them. If you really want to study a really engaged Facebook group, I recommend going over to the Women Rocking Sisterhood, the Women Rocking Business Sisterhood page, because you'll see techniques that Sage uses that we use on our Facebook page as well. She'll share, and then she'll ask people to post things, right, to keep engaged. So it's something that you can grow, but study what works with other people as well. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question. Big kiss for you. Mwah. Bridget. Hi. What you got?
Hi, I just have a quick question. Do you have, or is there somewhere on the website a sample of a midway assessment questionnaire?
Good question. Shannon, do you know if that's true? I have to say I'm really excited. We're about to engage a search engine in our library because it's grown so bodacious, and where you will be able to do things like that. I don't know if we have assessment, but what you consider while Shannon's looking in the library is, did you do an initial
intake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. What you can consider, Bridget, doing is taking your initial intake and tweaking that.
Okay.
Right? Because your initial intake probably has something about what are you struggling with? What do you want? What's your biggest issue? Things like that. Okay. And so you can use that, maybe shorten it and put some things at the bottom about your program specifically. Like especially sometimes in our midterm assessments, we'll ask about something particular that we tried. So if there's an exercise that you did or a homework assignment that you did, if you don't know it turned out or if it was beneficial to them, you can tailor it to one of those pieces.
Okay.
Bridget, I'll go ahead and tag you on the Facebook page. There was a post for the mid-year survey, and I'll find that and tag you on it, and then you can check that survey out.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, great question. Did that help anybody else, that question? Yeah, you, great. Thank you for asking, Bridget. Ladies, there's no question too small on these calls. You have no idea what little curiosity you have that might feed the others. So if you haven't spoken up in a while, Melissa, Joanne, I don't mean to call you out, but I am, because I want to hear your voices. Tina, haven't heard from you. Hi, Terry. Make sure you get your voices in the group. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the call. Are you in LA?
San Francisco.
Okay. I was going to say, you're dressed too warm for LA.
Well, I don't know. I think it's colder too anyway, but hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm thinking about the group program and taking in what you shared, which is a little bit of a new concept of how you'll just take one person through the program, or then it might be that you're doing several talks and you're getting kind of one at a time. So we're doing individual and just guiding them along the way through the same, like maybe I'm going to do 3 months, say, for example. Then how might you introduce the group in that, like a group get together?
Awesome. So I'm just going to break it down super simple. So the first thing we recommend is a series of talks, right? Up to 6 is awesome. From there, you're getting discovery sessions and taking individual clients. Because the benefit of that is that every woman or man who says yes to you during those discovery sessions, you can start serving them right away, right? You can make them stick with you, get their deposit, start the role. They're your client now. You can start serving them. You don't have to wait to start serving them, okay? So do that. Keep giving your talks, keep having discovery sessions, keep enrolling a client one at a time. Now, Lisa, let's say 4 months from now, you've executed those 6 talks, you've got 4 or 6 clients, right? And of all of your clients, you're noticing that they're all suffering from leftover emotions from their past relationships, right? And they're just really struggling and they're feeling alone, and you're helping them with that. And you're like, wait a minute. If they were in a small group where they could share what they're struggling with and how it's similar to other women, then they could have some camaraderie. They could start buddying up. You could create a Facebook page where they could connect deeper. Then at that point, you'll just want to announce to them, hey, I'm putting a small group together. It's going to be a bonus. It's going to cost you nothing. Maybe you do a poll for the first Friday of the month or the first Wednesday of the month. And then you pick a time and you invite everyone to a group call or a live group at your studio where people come. It's a bonus. Now you're going to be having a group of people, 4 or 6 people, where now you have to do something with them, right? You have to create exercises. You have to find ways so the prism on the desk doesn't like chop their face up like it's doing to me now. I have no idea what's happening. The sun just turned into rainbows outside. It's probably going to rain again. So now you're going to be leading this small group, right? But what you've alleviated, Lisa, is the pressure of having to fill the group in order for it to start. You're already getting income from all the individual clients. Now the group is a bonus. So now you're leading this group and you're taking copious notes. What are we doing with them? What are the breakthroughs they're getting? What are the exercises that are working? What's not working, right? That becomes your curriculum for your group program. Again, people are paying you to devise and divine your program right under your feet. Now say someone comes along, Lisa, you're doing a signature talk, and they're like, I don't want individual work. I just want to be in a group. Now you have the opportunity to assess, can I put this person with where they're at in this group that already exists, and will they get their needs met? Or do I need to do 3 private sessions before I put them in the group? Or can I just put them right in? Now you can charge another fee to this 5th person to put them in your group. Time goes on. You start re-enrolling. Now you want to launch a group program. That's a whole different strategy. So this is your like beta strategy. Does that make sense?
Totally. I mean, I asked a quick question around the structure of money. I'm guessing in this group program I'm guessing once a week calls. I mean, in my individual sessions.
It's your choice.
Okay. I'm just curious if there was a structure that I like structures.
Well, we recommend you make the structure that you like. Like if once a month feels really good to you, great. Twice a month, that once a week, it's up to you. But know that that's your time. And part of creating a group program is leveraging your time, right?
Right.
So having a group like once a month, I would say is a great place to start. Because then you're also seeing them, those individual clients once a week. So it's like you're seeing them twice a month.
Okay, because you're saying, because I'm seeing them once a week. That's what I meant. Like, I just wanted to get an idea because I'm also thinking about pricing. Like, I'm trying to put it all together. So, like, once a week, once a month for the group.
Right. If you see them once a week individually, 3 times a month, and then once in the group, that you'll be seeing them 4 sessions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Any guidance on how to price this?
That's a really big question, which I love. And what I want to recommend is you go into the forum on pricing and you check that on your marketable program. We're recommending anywhere from $297 to $2,000 a month, just depending on what you're offering.
Okay, thank you.
Big kiss for you. Mwah. Oh, by the way, you're totally worth it, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Sonia, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much. I have a whole slew of discovery sessions, and the thing that I'm running into problems with, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, congratulations. Sorry, I was just muttering under my breath. Congratulations, a whole slew of discovery sessions. Well done.
I'm out like over 20. Anyway, so I am struggling with, in the discovery session, I'm promoting a year program. And so like, well, I don't know what the program is about. I want to see what the program is about first before I make a decision. So I send them the information and I schedule a follow-up call.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if I'm doing that right, should I be giving that information beforehand, or any suggestions? Because I'm kind of struggling with a lot of resistance about money, and basically it's mainly about money and not knowing what the program is.
Yep. Megan, Shannon, either of you want to speak to that one?
Sure. So one thing I would just say bluntly is pretty much you're always going to have some conversations about money, no matter what you do. So that's part of it. And embracing it is, oh yeah, when I do discovery sessions, we get to talk about money and we get to face money objections, and knowing that yourself when you go into it is definitely really helpful. And when you're offering a discovery session, the main thing is have a name for the session and have a clear outcome or point why people are signing up for the session. So it's not only to find out about a program, but it's for them to have a breakthrough of some kind on that session. So you let them know, we're going to be, focusing on getting you X result or this next step. And we'll also be talking about my program, and then the title of your program. So for all of you, filling in the title of your program, and find out if it might be a good fit to work together. So when you share about it this way, you're not surprising them at minute 29 of a 30-minute session with, and I have a program, do you want to sign up with me for a year? You're letting them know this is part of the conversation. And so it is great to have a landing page or a PDF of, just a one-pager with some simple details of your program, so that they're not blindsided. They get to see, oh, here are some next steps. This is what you're doing. I was actually just sending out this morning to someone I have discovery sessions with tomorrow, 2 people I have discovery sessions with, letting them know these things. And I said in the email, I'm looking forward to chatting with you and getting you this result tomorrow in our 30 minutes together. I'll also be chatting with you a bit more about my program, and you can find out some details here. And then I sent them that link, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So it's setting them up with that feeling of, oh, this is what we're going to do here on this call.
Love it. That's hot. That's hot. Is that helpful, Sonia?
Absolutely. I was just struggling with how to do it, and that answered all my questions. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Sonia, I have one more question. Have you sold a year-long program yet?
Yeah.
Awesome. How many have you sold?
1.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And how many no's have you gotten?
I need to talk to my husband, and I need to look it over, and then not getting back in touch with me, not opening emails, not answering phone calls, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. One of the things I'm curious about, this is just a toss, is to consider not when people give their first objection, but could you enroll someone in 6 months of your program?
Yes, I have 3 stages. So I'm looking at changing it from a whole year to like level 1, which is more manageable. It's, more affordable, and people don't feel so overwhelmed. So that's what I'm looking at.
Awesome. Awesome. Because a year is a huge commitment.
Yeah.
We find that people, if they've never worked with us before, are more likely to jump into a shorter program, anywhere from 3 months to 7 or 8 months, depending. I've had some people jump in with me for 8 months. Like a year, whatever, it just feels long in our brains. It's like there's no break or something like that. So just consider that as an option. But again, if you really want people in a year-long program because you want that kind of sustainable income, ask for it, because that can also be really powerful.
How about offering them the 4-month program, and then say, if you really are, committed to your change, I also have a year.
Well, here's the thing. When we give people a decision between this or that, they often don't decide. What I loved what you said, there was levels, right? There's the first level, there's this second level, and there's a third level, because it suggests that you're going to get them from where they are to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll meet them at the next level and take them to the next level. And that has more of an appeal to it, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Beautiful.
Thank you
Let us
so
know how it goes with those discovery sessions.
All right.
Sometimes when you get a lot of no's, you can lose confidence that there's a yes around the corner. And I know for you, Sonia, your program is so strong that there is a yes around the corner for you.
I feel that I'm just a little, like you said, a little downtrodden by all the, resistance. But yeah, I'm still there. I'm strong.
Yes, you are. Big kiss for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Lauren Puma, hello. Welcome to the call.
Okay, hi.
Hi, how can we support you today?
My question is about getting some clarification about at what point we start swapping out an individual session for the group. Because I think, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, I thought that a few months ago, the way that this was going to progress is that you get 10 to 12 individual clients, and then you develop the group, and then that group meeting takes the place of one individual session. So that is a way to kind of free up your time. Did I misunderstand that?
No, that's definitely an option, but not a have to, right? The idea, so what you're hearing is correct. By developing a group program, you're leveraging your time. And so instead of 1 hour sessions all over your calendar, you're pooling everyone so you can serve them all in 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. So you're leveraging your time, absolutely. But you don't want to be taking away their individual sessions like all of a sudden. But there may be a natural completion for you, Lauren, where your individual clients, you've been working them for 3 months, 6 months. How long is your program?
6 months.
6 months. Awesome. There may be a natural transition when they complete the 6 months with you to put them all in a group and let go of their individual sessions.
Okay.
But you would be seeding that all along the way and acknowledging them for how far they've come and all that they've learned, and now they're ready for this group and what they're going to get out of the group. And how many individual sessions are you giving these clients so far? Is it once a month, twice a month?
It's 3 months.
So what you might also consider is when you move them to the group is to give them one individual session a month.
So one individual, one group. So it's twice.
Yeah, you might consider doing that, because what we found is people thrive on the individual sessions, right? They really want to know that they're being held special for them. And so that could be a nice transition, and then see how that goes. If your clients aren't crazy about individual sessions, great, just keep giving them the group. But if they want that touch in with you, that could be a really nice signature for your program.
Okay. And so say some of my clients, they finish the 6 months and they go into like one individual session, one group session per month, but then everyone's ending at different times. So then I really don't have a group yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So, right.
This is good. Hi, everyone.
Welcome to the call.
Hi, Serena.
Hi, Sage. Welcome.
Hi, Lauren. I just got off my leadership team meeting with the leaders that are going to Uganda, and I've been listening to you, Lauren. Serena, would it be okay if I popcorn in?
Yes, please. We were expecting your shining face.
I just want to add, Serena's absolutely right. There's a point at which you're all going to be making decisions. How do I want to start to grow this business forward? Right? Like the core skills that we're giving you in ELA are here to get you started. When you go into leverage, many of you have already raised your hand to do that. You're going to find that starting groups and starting to do the things online to get people's attention, they start to be like colors on a canvas. And the further you get in your business, the more autonomy you're going to feel in, oh, now I know what to do over here and how to complete this client over here and how to start this client over here. And you'll get more and more comfortable kind of being the leader of onboarding new clients and completing with old clients.
And that's really a leadership conversation. How are you leading them? How do you want your business to grow? Now, it's always going to be imperfect. You're going to have clients who are completing at different times. You're going to have clients who are onboarding 2 months into a program. And the question we always want you to ask is, how do I take care of each client individually, right? Raise your hand if you just joined ELA a couple months ago. You've just joined in the last 2 months. And then keep your hand up if you felt like somebody went out of their way to check in with you, whether it was your coach or Shannon or somebody went out of their way to like check in with you about getting like up to speed in ELA. Raise your hand if that happened for you. Like you had individual coaching sessions that helped you kind of figure out the map of how ELA works, right? So that, you know, we onboard people halfway through by asking ourselves, what do people need to get on board? And we want you to do the same thing, Lauren. So when clients are completing and you have a group program starting 2 months from now, you might ask yourself, how could I keep serving them so that they would be ready to hop into the group in 2 months? If you have a client who has 2 more months of private coaching with you and your schedule is just getting too full, you might make that client an awesome offer to switch from private to group. Think about what would be in it for that client. How do I make it a win-win? How do I make it a win for them? You can individualize it. And then the bigger your business gets, like you see how Women Rocking Business has grown, you'll be able to hire people to help you with that. You might have a coach working underneath you, which is something that some of our leverage women are starting to do to bring coaches on. So I just want to speak into leadership for every single one of you. How are you leading your clients? How are you leading your business? And how do you make decisions based on what you want it to look like? And really, you guys have to remember, it's year 1 for many of you. You're still figuring it out. Like you're figuring this stuff out for the first time. And you know, when you enter into year 2 of your business, you'll be able to start planning it out a lot more with a lot more organization. And I know it can feel a little bit chaotic that first year. Just let it feel chaotic. Let yourself learn the skills. Let yourself serve the clients. You'll find that when you show up and ask your clients what you need, you'll find that they'll usually tell you, and you'll be able to get them what they need to stay plugged in, whether you're switching back and forth between individual or group. Is that helpful?
Yes, very. Thank you so much, Sage and Serena.
Kiss for Lauren. Mwah. All right, back to you, Serena and Megan.
Excellent. Sage, it's awesome for you to be on the call today because this is going to be one of the last times before you set off to Uganda.
I know. I'm so excited. So excited. I'd love to actually hear from a couple of you. We are heading into Uganda, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And, you know, the reason why we're going to Uganda is all about leadership. You know, this month's topic is engagement. How are you engaging your clients? How are you leading them? This is true for clients who have already hired you. This is especially true for clients who haven't hired you yet, right? Raise your hand if you're aware that your energy actually matters more than what you say in an enrollment conversation. You're just noticing your energy is what's leading them. Beautiful. I wanted to just speak a word into noticing as we're entering the end of the year, what's holding you back from being the confident leader that you want to be in 2020? Are you picking up what I'm laying down? And I'm just curious, in one sentence or less, I'd love to hear from a couple of you. And then I want to share like how this links into our Uganda trip, because every single one of you is energetically going to Uganda with us. You're a part of the fundraiser. You're going to be getting the photos and the videos. Many of you gave money to the girls in Uganda. And I want to speak about that. But I'm just curious, in one sentence or less, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's just get 3 or 4 shares. Where specifically do you notice yourself not stepping into your leadership, whether it's a certain part of the enrollment conversation or something that you're doing on stage? Who wants to share? Yeah, go for it, Phoebe.
Yeah, for me, it's caring what other people think when I say, yes, I'm going to do a free workshop. And they're like,
well, we usually pass the basket here. And I'm like, we're going to try a different approach.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I hear what they think, and it kind of stops me in my tracks for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give her a kiss.
True. That's a vulnerable share. Thank you, Phoebe. Who else has a share? I saw Becca's hand up. Yeah, Becca, let's hear from you.
So the thing that has been taking me out is another place where I have accountabilities. And there is a demand from that space for the things to be done at particular times.
You've made promises somewhere else, and your schedule starts to get over full.
Yes, so the business, building the business gets taken off the calendar.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you've ever noticed that all of a sudden your schedule starts to get full and you don't have time to work on your business. And raise your hand if you've noticed yourself trapped in what Phoebe's speaking into. Like, it's really hard to be a leader when I know, like, I want people to respect me and love me, and right? Like that people pleasing, like we all do that. Kiss for Becca. Mwah. What else? Let's take one more. Yeah, Melissa.
So, hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I am scared of looking cheesy.
No, I can relate to that. I'm totally cheesy. Raise your hand if you can relate to that. You're scared of looking salesy, or you're scared of looking cheesy, or you're scared of, right? Like people will judge us for sticking our neck out. That's just part of what happens, right? And at the same time, we're usually the ones judging ourselves the worst. Kiss for Melissa. Mwah. We spoke with somebody, Megan and I did a coaching session with one of our clients in Leverage yesterday, Jennifer Cruz, who's hosting a big 3-day live event in Puerto Rico that's all about finding love. And we were brainstorming with her how to make sure she has enough people coming to her live event in Puerto Rico. And her big concern was, why would people come to Puerto Rico? Like, why would they go that far out of their way to come to an event about finding love in 2020? And Megan and I both had the same response, which was like, why wouldn't they? But who's going to tell them to come to Puerto Rico to reset their love life? Is it going to be you, or is it not going to be you? Can you hear the power of the question? Right? Therein lies the choice that every single one of you are embarking upon in your leadership in your business. If there's only one thing we can get you doing in 2020 to have 2020 be a breakout year for your business and a breakout year for your life. Like, seriously, 2020 is a big year. Auspiciously, astrologically, we've got a huge opportunity that we're walking into together. I'm so proud of this ELA group. You guys have been getting on the morning motivation calls. Serena's been checking in about your progress. Shannon and Claire have been raving about your action steps that you're taking. You guys are getting clients. You're hosting signature talks. For those of you that are not there yet, you're still plugging in. We have more engagement in ELA this year than we've ever had. A higher percentage of you are on the Facebook group. A higher percentage of you are taking the action steps. Whether you've had the kinds of results you want to or not yet, what lies ahead of you is an opportunity for you to continue to bring your leadership, right? Jennifer Cruz's opportunity and leverage is to look into the camera and let people know why Puerto Rico is the very best place to reset their love, their love upper limit, and claim that 2020 is going to be the year they find mind-blowing love. And the reason people would get on a plane and go to Puerto Rico is because Jennifer is finding the confidence inside of herself to let them know, why is Puerto Rico the best place? It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous resort. Once you get there, it's totally affordable. Why wouldn't you give yourself some miles in between you and your old life so that you can truly restart? Can you feel it? People out there, right, at the supermarkets, driving around in the cold and the snow and the rain, people out there are stuck in complacency and suffering. They don't know what to do next. for their health, for their love, trusting their intuition, balancing their hormones, starting their businesses, all the things that you help them with, they're confused. And they're going to spend their money somewhere. So I want to put I'd like to put a stake in the ground and invite every single one of you to put a stake in the ground for the opportunity you have in 2020 to be the leader that you came here to be, to look into the camera, to get on stage, and to look in people's eyes and say, here's what I believe is the next step. Because if you don't lead them, somebody else will. People are looking for leaders. Can I have an uh-huh? Is that resonating?
Mm-hmm.
Is that helpful?
Uh-huh.
And
yeah.
every single one of you gets to do this with your personality, your quiet confidence, for me, it was very clunky in the beginning, and that's okay. It's okay. But don't be afraid to lead people. They're suffering, they need you. That's what Uganda is about for us. You know, I had a dream that someday I'd be taking some of our team members to do a volunteer trip. The only time I've ever gotten to take a team member on a volunteer trip was when I took Serena to Ecuador a few years ago. And since then, Serena and I have been putting the stake in the ground that we're going to take a chunk of the team and go support, you know, the work that we want to do, girls in third world countries. You might not know this, but empowering girls in third world countries financially is one of the top 5 ways to reverse global warming. Because this financial empowerment education that we're bringing to girls next week, we're bringing this specific education to over 1,000 girls in Uganda because we raised $75,000. And Women Rocking Business is the sponsor of this trip. Like, they're giving the girls pink empowerment t-shirts, and on the back of the t-shirts is the Women Rocking Business logo. Like, I'm probably more honored to take this step and get on the plane with Shannon and Serena and our copywriter, Megan Walrod. I'm probably more honored to get on that plane and fly for 26 hours and be jet lagged and crazy. I'm more excited and honored than I maybe ever have been, aside from watching all of you have the results that you have. But I put a stake in the ground that for every client you fight for, you're also getting closer to being the leader who can keep making a difference in the world. You know, these girls, they're getting raped on the way to the water hole. Like, every 10 seconds in Africa, like a small girl gets raped. Like, we can't even comprehend what life is like for them. And so I just speak a word for all of us getting to go to Uganda together. We're going to be posting pictures and videos. And meanwhile, while we're gone, you all are going to be playing in the Big Deal video contest. I know Shannon's video froze up as she was sharing the Big Deal game, but let me see if I can go ahead and share that for you, because last year we had a higher percentage of leverage women play the game than ELA. I'll just be honest. And this year, Serena and I are on a mission to have a higher percentage of ELA women play the game than leverage. Can I have an uh-huh if you're with me? Unmute yourself.
Uh-huh.
Give us a
Yeah.
This video that you're going to make about your leadership, whatever breakthrough you've had, I don't care if you joined us in September, October, or you've been with us since May. Whatever breakthrough you're saying yes to is the game. That's the game. Doesn't matter how long you've been with us. When you make the video, please, for the love of the goddess, make sure it's imperfect. It is not supposed to be a perfect video. It's just you sharing your truth. Just a quick reminder, here's the details. Videos are due next Friday, the 13th. Serena and I are going to be looking forward to watching them when we get off the plane. First place is a $10,000 value. It includes a $5,000 headshot package with an incredible photographer, Siddiqui. We are paying her to do this. She's not volunteering. This is a professional headshot package, something you'd pay thousands of dollars for. And you'll get a $5,000 gift certificate toward leverage, including a spot on stage at Women Rocking Business Live in March. So we're so excited to have one of you take the stage. And we have some great second and third place prizes with gold pass coaching sessions and a $1,500 gift certificate. I also want to just remind you, when you make the video, to use these sentence stems. You don't have to use all of them, but just to use one or two of these sentence stems. You know, I'm kind of a big deal because, or I rocked the stage and here's how I did it. So have fun with those. Raise your hand if you're going to make a video. I'm so excited to see your videos. And here's the thing. Some of you are going out of town next week for the holidays. So some of you may want to just start making those videos right away. I'm going to pass it back to Megan and Serena to close out the call and really have you thinking about what is one thing that you can do in the coming weeks before you go offline to really up your game around engaging your clients, engaging them in enrollment conversations, engaging them once they've already hired you, and really leading them. And Serena, I'm so excited to get on the plane with you. And Shannon, I'm excited to get on the plane with you on Friday. Megan, we're going to miss you. We're sending you a ton of love on your family journey right now. And Megan, we're really lucky to have you next week to keep leading these ELA women, because I know especially for those of you who decided to stay with us another year in Leverage, it's really fun for you to get to know how Megan thinks about some of the engagement pieces and what she's thinking. And for those of you who have been with us since May, and you're in your seventh month, I wish we were together 7 years. You're in your 6th or 7th month of ELA. If you haven't heard about the offer, if you haven't considered what it would be like to stay with us next spring and commit to that first month of Leverage and orient that way, we're going to be doing an awesome VIP day. Megan and I are going to be doing an awesome VIP day to help you really close the gaps around your thinking and your profit and getting clients. For those of you that still are curious about doing that, be sure to email support@stagelevine.com, and Shannon and Claire will hop on the phone with you and explain how all that works. So Serena and Megan, thank you for just being awesome leaders with us.
I love your voice in here making the distinction about leadership, because I remember when I first joined ELA, I couldn't really wrap my mind about what was leadership in my business. And so I appreciate you bringing that distinction in and challenging us, right? Sage is actually the living, walking voice of what we've been training on this call. How do you engage your clients? How do you lift them up into a mindset that they weren't actually in before they got on the call with you? So right here and right now, I want to direct all of you over to our Facebook page. I know I told you to close all your windows and doors when you get on these calls. And now I'm asking you to get active and open up the Facebook page, go to our ELA site, and really post, what are you going to do? What is the next step to even more effectively engage your clients? Of the, I think, 20 different points that we pulled out today, what's one of the things that you know with the clients that you have right now you could actively take leadership with? Because this is going to be a big deal. It's going to make you even more of a big deal that your clients are sticking with you for the holiday season into the next season. And I'm right behind Sage by saying that these videos that we're encouraging you to do for this gamification is about the small, potent transformation you're all involved in. And I know personally, the first year of your business can be one of the most life-changing, because you are stepping into the shoes of being an entrepreneur that is so different than what your life was before. And that is a really big deal. And we want to know about it. So use your storytelling skills. Direct us to the big, small, potent thing that you've overcome to be who you are. That's what we really want to know and celebrate about you. And each and every one of you has crossed a line, stepped past the boundaries, dancing on the edge of your evolution, and has something to brag about. I'm also really aware that there were a lot of questions that didn't get answered on this training call. No problem. That's what the Facebook page is for as well. Coaches will be on there right after the call, and Megan will be back with you next week. So please go over to the Facebook page right now and let us know one thing you can commit to doing to engaging your clients even more based on what we talked on to today, so that we can really love you and hold you accountable to that. Megan?
I love it, Megan. You were such a freaking powerhouse when we made those videos years ago. I think Megan was one of the winners.
I was, yes. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of your videos, and just encourage you to use the inspiration that you feel from the call today what would it be like if you just did it? What if you just made your video today, and then you don't have to be in limbo and then worrying, and is it going to be good enough, or what am I going to talk about? What if you just went ahead and did it? How refreshing would that feel? So trying on that possibility after you go over to the Facebook page and pop your answers in there to the post that Serena just made. I'm so looking forward to seeing you all next week on the Q&A call as well. So bring your questions, and we'll be covering more on re-enrollment, both, re-enrollment of your clients to a next level and re-enrolling them while they're still in, keeping them engaged, keeping them excited.
And we want to give a big shout out to Shannon Fisher for slogging through the gremlins today and showing up and supporting us. Shannon, thank you so much for all that you do with Women Rocking Business to keep things rolling, and you're holding down the seat in the ECL page. Ladies, your clients are waiting for you. As Sage described, this is a world where there's a lot of suffering. And there are people who are going to pay in 2020 for services and solutions to their most pressing problems. And we know from behind the scenes that you ladies are overqualified to help people. Overqualified with genius. And we really want to put a stake in the ground that you take this winter time to do what you need to do to re-listen, recommit, finish up components of this program, because these tools really work and they will bring your clients to you the way you want them if you work the program. So in just a second here, we're going to unmute the lines, and what I'd love to hear is one more word from each of you about your recommitment to your own leadership. Going to be popcorn style. Say it loud and proud.
Before we do that, real quick, I want to say bye to Megan. I know she has to hop off, and I just want to also acknowledge those of you who are committing to your next step to really engage your clients. This is huge. If you have not claimed a next step, please do. This is a big part of the success of ELA, is just being visible in your commitments. Ashley, I love how specific you are. I'm going to send my 2 current clients halfway point surveys before next week's calls, right? That's going above and beyond. Where are you? What do you want more of? You're halfway done. How do we start orienting you toward being with us even further? And if you're making background noise, if you guys could mute yourself out. Kat, by the way, you have no clients yet, but you're continuing to look for collaborative partners to help you get the word out. I want to also speak a word that you don't have to have any clients to win the game for the video. That is not what it's about. There are all kinds of action steps you're taking in this program that don't necessarily include getting a paying client. So just know that where you are is perfect to get you to the next step. And let's get you a client in 2020 if you want it, because there's no better time of the year to get a new client than the new year, because people are spending all kinds of money and making all kinds of decisions in the new year to change their lives. So let's go strong. Consider giving people a little New Year's discount of some kind. You can actually just rename your quick decision discount a New Year's discount. And if you have not posted your next step in terms of what you know you've got to do to keep engaging clients, please make sure you post that on the Facebook group. And now back to Serena's inquiry to unmute yourself and say goodbye. And what was it? One word, Serena. One word of what you're walking away with?
Yes, please. One word of what you're walking away with. Please unmute yourselves and get your voices in the group.
Power.
Having more
Inspiration. Persistence.
service.
Don't give up.
Commitment.
Fire.
Action.
Clarity.
Getting more excited.
More engagement.
Schedule more talks.
Recommitment.
Yes.
Yes.
Community engagement.
Service.
Build a tribe.
Yes, ladies.
Connection.
Taking action.
Yes, yes.
Honoring my business occasions in my calendar.
Connections. Connections. More connections.
Yes, yes, ladies. Let's give us all a big kiss.
You got this. Keep going. Go
Thank
do
you,
something you're
Sage.
scared to do. Hop
Thank
on the
you,
morning.
Serena.
Hop on the morning
Thanks,
motivation
bye.
calls. They're
Thank you,
helpful.
everyone.
Yeah.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're amazing. Keep shining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Keep following up. Your clients need you. Fight for them.
Bye.
Bye.